And we're live! Hello all, welcome back to the Sigil stream. My name as always is Mr. Harlan Guthrie, and we are here tonight with the one, the only, Ms. Erica.
No.
We are joined once again by the, well, I can say this because we're getting married in about 5 months, extremely attractive Joe! And of course, it wouldn't be complete tonight without the one, the only, Kala herself, Ahmed.
Happy New Year again, fam!
Oh, Jesus!
Surprise round!
Yeah, for real.
Roll for initiative.
Of course, Gary, aka Garrus, or Gary, is not here tonight, unfortunately. He is, I know, he spent the holidays overseas, where he's from, where he's born and bred, which is obviously New Zealand. He just has a really great accent.
He has a great Irish accent.
Yeah.
No, he's overseas.
Torg.
Yeah.
New Zealand accent, that's ridiculous.
It's great. So he is not here tonight.
Is he stuck there, do we know?
I
Because a
haven't
lot
talked
of
to him.
flights have been canceled.
Have you
Oh,
talked to him?
yeah.
I texted him today and I have not heard back, so I'm gonna guess yes.
That's good news.
I'm just gonna say, hey,
Without power
Gary,
somewhere.
you stuck?
And no
You stuck, bro?
You stuck, bro?
Or maybe he
You
just-
need a
maybe
push?
he-
I was all happy to say, like, but at least he's here in spirit. But he deliberately ended the last session telling us by letter that he was not going to be. So
I know. What
I
else?
will feel bad if he is stuck, but a tiny bit of being like, well, that's you shouldn't have left us.
Yeah, it's your fault. Shouldn't have agreed to go with that jerk orc barsmith.
Yeah. How
Orc
dare you
Barsmith?
betray your D&D
Cold
family?
Basewind, Harlan.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
orc
Base.
barsmith, Cole Basewind. It's great.
Wait, yeah, it was Cole. Cole. He went
Yeah.
with my
Yeah.
But he's an
Potential
orc
bow.
barsmith. I wasn't using his name.
Oh,
I was using
I
a
thought you-
descriptor. You thought I was just, you thought I
His
thought
name
his
was
name
Orc
was Orc
Barsmith.
Barsmith?
No, I thought
very
you
on the
didn't
nose.
remember his name, and so you just went with the first.
No, I was being vague because this is the intro. This is the part of the show where we sort of just
a
use
barpenter.
vagueities to before we get into the specifics of the game.
Mm-hmm.
We unfortunately haven't been able to stream for the last few weeks. A few upset tummies, a few upset throats. Nothing so far that I'm aware of more serious, but. For us Ontarians, Ontarians?
Ontarians.
Ontario.
Ontarians? It's Ontarian. Ontarians.
It's Ontarian. It's just
Yeah,
a
but it
matter of you
sounds weird
keeping the
now.
other I-O in there or not.
Ontarians.
So,
No, it is Ontarians, but it sounds weird
yeah.
saying it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe I don't say it that often. Anyway, us Ontarians are...
that feels like it's bad somehow.
Yeah, I know. Ugh. It's a no-no word. We are right back in lockdown, right in the throes of it. So
Yay.
it is definitely the darkest timeline. Nah, it's not the darkest timeline. There could be Trump could still be in office. So we're
That's
definitely
true.
not in the darkest
And,
timeline.
and I finished painting my wall. You'll see that the tape is now gone from this. It's a
Yes.
nice gray wall. So everybody's
Good job,
doing a little bit
Erica.
better.
Amazing.
Great job.
Yeah, so it has been a tough few weeks, but
Took
we are
4
really
months.
excited to be back in the swing of things, back in the saddle, back to playing some D&D, even if it's without our Gar, even if it's without our, Gar Bar.
We need him. We love him.
He'll come back. He'll return to us.
But did everyone have a good Christmas and New Year's and all that kind of stuff? Ahmed, anything huge blow up over there?
Yeah, my son ran headlong into a glass table. We had to get stitches.
Oh,
no!
Yeah,
Why?
He just had them removed. He was telling the kids in class today. Well, I guess because they did remote because we're in Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
He was telling the kids in class today about him. He was like, I didn't get just 1, not 2, but 3. He was like, I guess bragging. I don't know. But yeah,
That's awesome.
it was like perfectly across his forehead.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
The
What
glass
happened?
table was like, so he's playing with the dog at a relative's house on the 26th, and he's playing with the dog and he's running around. The glass table's like this, right? But glass tables are, they're thin. It's
Yeah.
like what movie was it where like it was like the glass thing was like right in his face and he turned sideways? Was it like Indiana Jones maybe?
Oh,
So anyway, so
no.
so the glass plate.
I'm
was
thinking
like,
Omen. There's a scene
That
in
was
Omen
Sherlock.
where...
It was Sherlock 2.
Yes, Sherlock 2. Well done. Yeah, it was like the glass was so thin.
Erica
If it's
wins.
Robert Downey Jr., Erica knows
Well
it.
done.
This one knows.
Yeah.
Well done. So he just ran full speed into it, and we took him to the hospital.
Oh my
quite
God.
painful.
That's rough.
Who-
That's for stitches.
Are you and your wife both pretty cool under pressure, or did one of you guys lose your mind?
I'm like
Or
a cucumber. Yeah.
and you're both like, yeah.
I was like, which hospital? I was like, I don't want to take him to that one. I was like, "That's not a good one." I was like,
Just
"Should
put
we
a
try
tea
a little
towel
bit
on
more?"
it.
And meanwhile, the relatives they're all like in shock, and like everybody's.
That's awesome.
It was that kind of a thing, They were just like, oh, what was interesting, and I learned it, because you learn this, I guess, but what I learned was the reaction, right, is what they base their emotion on.
Mm-hmm.
So like everybody was in shock, not me. I was like sitting there like, oh no, but like.
Yeah.
At least 3 people guffawed and he's looking at them like, what the hell just happened?
Aw.
Yeah.
Like initially he was in pain, but it's that added emotional reflection that
100%.
does the real damage. I think.
Oh yeah, the minute people are like, "Oh my God, that must have hurt," then they're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah."
Then you're like, what do you mean?
It was supposed
What's
to,
wrong with
yeah.
my
Yeah.
face?
Yeah.
You're fine.
I thought you were
you're
referencing
fine.
the glass scene from Omen. For
Oh.
Rose.
Oh, the other one, yeah.
That's
There was
different.
that.
That's excellent. Can I do that in the game today?
Yeah, do that in the game today.
I'm gonna see if
I love
can
how
make
fake
that
the
up.
head looks. Like there's no blood or
that's
anything.
right.
It's just bunk, bunk, bunk.
Oh,
Anyway,
right,
spoilers
blood.
for the Omen.
Good head physics.
Well, I'm glad that he bounced back and he's now in the bragging rights
Yeah.
phase of it. That's a good sign.
he's
And
fine.
that's a very good note to end the year on, because now all you can go is up. Just keep healing.
That's true. That's true. I feel like there's a tradition about getting sort of hurt around the holidays and then letting it sort of be a story. I feel like I've been with friends.
It's a
I think
Christmas
myself,
story,
I've been
right?
hurt. Yeah, I think there's something about
No, I
Christmases.
mean the movie A Christmas Story, right?
Oh, that too. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets
Well, I
hurt,
remember
right?
one year I had a black eye because I remember my uncle being
That's the
like,
one, yeah.
on Christmas, I remember him being like, "Oh, you tell everyone that you got hit by a bear or something."
What was the black eye from?
I don't remember. Probably my dad was drinking. No, I'm just kidding. I don't remember. I think.
I didn't dodge fast enough this time.
Yeah. I said the wrench. I should have picked the belt. No, I think I don't remember. I do remember one time. I remember my worst bruise ever. I was at the cottage and I ran into a saw blade on my right here, but I was wearing enough clothes that it basically destroyed everything, but didn't puncture the skin.
The saw blade was
No.
active.
I
Okay.
would have punctured the
I was
skin. It
gonna
was like
say.
it was like a
Circular saw?
Well, which one?
Circular saw.
Yeah, but like a table saw, like the ones that are built in. What do they call them?
Yeah.
They're like built into it.
Router
It's table saw, and then I think
Table
the type of
saw.
saw blade in it is it's a circular saw versus the jigsaw versus
Yeah,
the.
it's definitely not a jigsaw. It was a circular saw.
Router.
It was the table.
Router.
I can't remember what it's actually.
Yeah.
That might be all it. But anyway,
Joe's
and
saying this with
somehow-
confidence that I have no. I have I have to
confidence
believe
sells. That's all
Yeah.
you really need. Anyway, and it was like yellow and deep purple, and it was just that was the worst bruise I ever had. So, but I'm still working to try to get it back. It's the high that I've been chasing ever since that terrible bruise.
I mean, that's actually a lot cooler, because when you mentioned Christmas Story, I realized that one of the things that my mom got me for Christmas was a little cat treater, because a cat treat shooter, because I guess she just figures I'm going to lean into that whole angle of my life.
Oh.
But
Awesome.
usually I just chuck the treats to get the cat out of the way, which if you noticed, he's in the way. But this is the little gun thing that you put in there. And I
that's
loaded
awesome.
it, trying to be like, oh, let me see how it works.
Oh
Shot
no!
yourself directly
Look
in
down
the
the barrel.
So, fortunately, I seemed to be just the right kind of timing blinking that it bounced off my eyelid. But if I had come here with some sort of weird thing going on my eye, I would have had to have lied and said
That
it was a
wasn't
BB gun,
timing.
something
Yeah.
cool.
That was your reaction speed. You're just so fucking quick that your eye
was there.
blink.
Yeah,
Right
got
on
it.
time.
I play all the slow characters I can just to give
Mm-hmm.
myself an escape from just having amazing reflexes in real
That's
life.
right. That's right.
But I
great.
see that also as a warning. Don't interface with firearms. This is
Yeah.
like a- this is
Well,
like a
as
soft
Canadians, I feel like because an
So
American.
little
Well, I shouldn't
practice.
say an American, but I'd say most intelligent Americans wouldn't look down the barrel of a gun, but as Canadians, we don't have that need. That it's not built into our constitution. I've seen a gun like once in my life. It's very rare.
Canadians do not need to be as intelligent because there are only two things that happen. One, you get Erica aiming the treat shooter into her eye, just going like this randomly, and then two, you get to drink from the hose in the summer and get that one friend who decides to do like, I'll hold it for you, just shoots it in your face. Which is a traditional pastime. So, yeah.
And you forget to take the toothpick out of a sandwich and you eat it.
I hate that. I know exactly what you mean.
You did that one time?
I put my mouth around a toothpick and chomped down, and it hurt me.
Oh no!
Yeah.
It was one of the ones where you like it was a small broken off one because they wanted to save on toothpicks, so they made it small and figured you'd see the tiny little end.
That should be a sin.
I don't think so. I think it was pushed down and. I just went for it.
No!
It didn't get like lodged or anything, but I definitely.
But it could have.
It hurt me.
You notice it.
Yeah. It wasn't holding like an olive or small pickle or anything to like
so
demarcate its
the flag
presence, right? You need.
Oh, the little flags.
You're supposed to have something on top so that you'd be like, watch out for the toothpick, right?
Was it at a party?
No, I was at a pub at a university. It was like the pub that was attached to my residence, and I was big into a club sandwich.
I mean, it sounds like the club sandwich was big into you.
Hey-o!
And with that, we can't get higher than that. So, ladies and gentlemen,
that's the low point, and then we just scoot up.
No, what are you talking about? That was a great joke,
like
ladies
New
and gentlemen.
Year's.
Hereafter, chapter 11. Garrus is gone. The three of you standing in the bar share a confused, almost betrayed look between the three of you. This man that you met has become a fast friend. Your voyage over on the ship was one of bonding. But the minute you landed here, it became one of true friendship, reliance, and trust. And though there's an element of sadness in his departure, you've also come to know that if Garrus did this, it must have been for a pretty good reason. So you stand, I think, at the bar. You know, the bar is being tended by the young gnome.
I think I'll just help myself.
Yeah. Cole has left him in charge. And little Lewis Hunter is sort of standing on a stool behind the bar, like pushing with two hands to reach across the bar, and pushes the tankard of ale before you, Kala, as he finishes pouring everyone's drinks and hops back down to go sit in the corner near his die again. So, the three of you have learned a great deal of information. Recently, you discovered that living upstairs in one of the spare bedrooms is a tortoise. He seems to keep to himself, but he is not one of the people who perhaps has gone missing. So you can check him off. Of course, his name was Tappert Key. Mm-hmm. That question mark is no longer a question mark. The other interesting piece of information you learned just before ending was Davis Straught. Davis Straught has a room here as well. However, after Brea investigated, she got to the bottom of the mystery that surrounded the explosions as of late. It seems like Davis Straught was asked by somebody to enter the temple with dynamite and blow open that door in the basement. And if I remember correctly, you all have correctly deduced, or at least assumed, that it was none other than Robert Thompson. Basing that on a few pieces of information. And Brea shares this with the two of you, as well as you sort of handling the departure of Garrus from your squad. How is Sal feeling this morning?
So the last have we actually slept since?
Yes.
All right, because the last thing I remember is Sal and Kala graciously helping with this, dragging the barrel of ancient dwarven ale up from the ruins, and then walking in to discover this note from Garrus.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I think for sort of flavor, we've then pushed through. You guys have slept through the night.
Mm-hmm.
The barrel's maybe still in the main area, but it's now the next morning, and the three of you have had time to sort of let this Garrus truth sink in.
With the exhaustion sort of having taken over, I think he's kind of gone back to the same sort of thoughts he had when he first met Cole and Meduna and everyone who had been in the temple before, which was the idea that as tired as he is now, as tired as his allies are, there is somebody else who is leaving. But I think he's worked with Garrus enough, I think, through these adventures that he doesn't have the same grudge that had been brewing inexplicably against Cole. But I think his first thought is, didn't Emma mention a banshee? Oh no, now there's only 3 of us.
Yeah, that's right. Kala, you hear your friend talk about this. How does Kala feel about Garrus and sort of the information that's been uncovered? I mean, more or less for the business side of things, you guys are tying a pretty neat bow on what Meduline has given you. Kala,
He was always a little bit of a weirdo, and I crumple up the note, like toss it over my shoulder, and then I just
Fair.
I guess I'm eating. I just woke up. I'm like, it's the morning.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
know. It's like
Brea, please say something
I didn't
nice
get
so
any
Gary
action
doesn't watch
last night.
this and be like, they just hated me, didn't they?
yeah.
I know he'll be back. He'll be back. But
Yeah,
I think
that one is like a tick.
I've never had a tick on me, but I'm sure
Me neither.
resilient. I think it might be beneficial to go and report our findings to Meduline before we head out to the windmill. What do you think?
Yes, that's the best course of action. We should do that. We shouldn't go off on our own. But in case Garrus does return, how are we leaving a message behind for him?
With Meduline.
We're on Meduline's side. We're the pro Meduline being the leader. We're not suspecting her as much, despite the
Brea has no reason to suspect Meduline. I think Sal is someone who is replete with strange, I guess, grudges.
When we first met him, he was so nice. I think if Brea, who's spoken to Meduline the most at this point, is comfortable with her, Sal's going to defer to that. So if she's the right person to leave a message with and to report to at the same time, even easier, that'll be what he agrees to go with.
Cool. So the 3 of you head to Meduline? Mm-hmm. Perfect. Yeah, you leave the tavern. It's sort of a dry morning.
The gnome that was there, is he the type to drink the ale that I so laboriously brought up?
Not if you ask him not to.
Could we ask him not to, very politely?
Of course.
All right. Yeah.
He turns around, kind of gives you a raised eyebrow, looks at the barrel, looks at you, and he's like, okay, sure.
I will wholeheartedly trust that and ask no further questions.
Sal is like whoop, trust this person, don't trust this person, trust this person, don't trust this person.
It's a little mental coin flip.
It's great. And Lewis adds, and he says, and if I see your friend Garrus, I'll send him your way.
Oh, that's nice.
And then you see him, like, as you walk out, he, like, creeps towards the barrel, and it just fades out.
He's got a hammer at the ready.
You, like, pop back in. It's, like, behind his back, but you can see it over his shoulders. It's like... Anyway, yeah, so you head across the town square. It's a bright, dry morning. The sun is cutting down through an absolute clear sky, casting stark shadows on the dirt as you walk toward Medjoline's house. And with a rat-tat-tat, you're beckoned into that same sort of office area. And she asks, "So what have you found out?"
Well, Medjoline, yesterday was busy, and we found out much about the residents of this village. First of all, Tappert Key is not missing. He's just been hanging out at his house, tending to his own chores, I suppose. Whittling quills. He's actually a very interesting man.
That was a very loaded, interesting.
I'll have to load. I asked Lewis to check his room. Obviously, he did a piss poor job. Thank you. I appreciate that. Please don't let that reflect what you think of me.
No, of course not. Speaking of Lewis Hunter, I'm not sure if you're aware, but Cole Basewind left the tavern last night with our friend.
She raises an eyebrow. And do you know why?
We
I
hand her
guess
the
he
note.
wasn't a dudes.
I was thinking the one he had the best relationship with, he's gone walking off with, so that's good.
I uncrumple the note that Kala had
I'm
crumpled
jealous.
up and thrown away.
Yeah.
I'm
And,
jealous to Medjoline.
yeah, and she looks at the note and sort of folds it in half and hands it back.
It sounds like they mean to return, and if Garrus comes back to town before we return, please let him know.
Cole has asked me on a similar errand before, but I wasn't able to follow him. It sounds like if Garrus was willing to help your friend, then I owe him a debt. Cole is a good man. Good orc. He's man appropriate here. I suppose it is. But I guess that's more meant to be like human, not man. So I'll say he's a good person. Cole is a good person, and he deserves closure for his brother, and I think this might have to do with that. So
I think Garrus is also looking for something similar, so it is fortunate that they met each other. And as to your main question about who's responsible for the explosion in the town.
yes, she sits back and crosses her hands over her lap.
While I was looking into the disappearance of Davis Straught, we found a message inside of his coat pocket that implicated him in the explosion, along with Robert Thompson. It seems that the two of them were working together.
She nods, and then a wry smile slides over her face.
You seem unsurprised.
I have had my suspicions of Davis from the beginning, but I also felt Robert was behind this for a number of reasons. She walks over to the office door and shuts it, and turns back. The truth is, yes, I needed proof exactly against Robert. The truth of the matter is, this was more or less a test. There's something grander going on here. Hythe is an important place, not just for its relevance in this new world, but strategically. There are many people who would like to see us fail. Have you heard about a faction of soldiers that may be over here?
Yes, the
Lions.
thank you.
I believe.
Lion's Head.
Yes. You have them.
Yes.
And those
She
were
walks-
the ones from the very, very start when we first walked in and saw them against the ancient traps.
We thought they were maybe 10 been here for 10 years or so?
No, so what you found again, and again, this is totally fair, it's been a number of weeks. You found ancient traps and ancient...
Oh, no.
Right.
However...
Oh, there.
What's that?
Oh, sorry, you froze. Suspiciously.
However, mixed in with that, you found more recent, within the last, 2 months. And those were from Lion's Head, as well as some supplies were sort of mixed in there.
I have written here that the bodies were about 10 years old.
Yes, there were also old bodies as well.
Okay. So there was a mix of various forces. Okay.
Yeah. And she says, because I think the Lion's Head also came over on one of the other ships that Davis was here on.
Right.
There's a bit of backstory there. But either way, it doesn't really matter. She sort of sighs heavily and sits down and says, first and foremost, for figuring out conclusively that Robert Thompson did, in fact, do this. And she hands you a small satchel of gold coins. It's not much, but call it the beginning of a good friendship. She smiles. But before I go on...
How many gold?
Have you found out exactly where he is?
Sorry, how many gold do we get?
You don't know. You're not going to open it.
I just want to put it on my sheet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
Oh, hold on.
1, 2. I'm counting this.
We suspect...
She told you how much. I think it was 50 gold now. And then she's going to give you more.
Oh, okay. And I would assume that by the actual weight of the bag, too, you'd be able to be like, oh, if this is all gold, it would probably be this much.
Yeah. And have you found out exactly where he might be?
We're talking about the windmill this time. Mm-hmm. Okay. I forget the area that it is, but it's the windmill that was
Northeast.
abandoned. We've heard some tale of it, but apparently that's where he may have run off to. Our best guess, anyway.
Robert Thompson, that is. Davis Straught, we're not sure.
Ah, yes, too.
Right. Well, hopefully you'll deal with him. Yes. Sorry, I'm just rereading my notes, and I want to make sure this doesn't have any spoilers in it. I'll just read it instead. Yeah, so again, to reiterate, what you learned from the field back at the beginning was that 2 months ago, roughly, a ship carrying members of Lion's Head let off a number of people with supplies and so on and so forth, and they triggered a number of traps. And within those, the traps were, some of them were very, very old, being here before times, as well as some of the bodies.
Now, I have to ask, those traps that were triggered, were they the start of an unfortunate misunderstanding where the Lion's Head now blame you for having provided such an inhospitable welcome, or were they already on their way to kill you?
Yeah, and I think, there's information here that she requests, and you sort of catch her up to what you're talking about, because she's not aware of these traps or anything like that.
Oh, she's okay.
No, so these are areas that are along the beachfront, almost like a Normandy situation, where people who came to this land encountered old traps from long ago when Asora was kind of like a place of actionable. So a lot of these were sort of just things that defrosted and still existed from that time. Now,
So
why the ancients decided to have storm beach fronts where they didn't allow people from other continents coming, that's a question entirely. Who knows why? She couldn't even guess. But the long and short of it is the Lion's Head is an issue for her. But what were you going to say, Erica?
Well, so just kind of building a little bit of a timeline. It was everything defrosted to a certain state. About 30 years ago, everybody for this village arrived, and then things defrosted.
No. 6 months ago. So we're only really talking about 2 timelines. We're talking about thousands of years ago or hundreds of years ago. We don't know. Which is actually interesting, because I was watching a bit of Dark Crystal today, and it was kind of cool, because they're talking about things happening 1,000 years ago. And even we're watching Lord of the Rings now, because it is obviously the holiday season, and that's what one does. And it's interesting, this ring goes missing 1,000 years ago, and people kind of, you don't really know what happened. There's a battle out front of the gates of Mordor 1,000 years ago, And, even Elrond, who is there, is kind of like, oh, yeah, I kind of remember that. Is that the ring? I don't really remember. And there's a lot of stuff that happens over that time. So no one who is alive then is alive now. Well, that you know of. There is a petrified dwarf that could be of help. But regardless, so you don't know the exact timeline because nothing, happened here. All you know is the sun went black and no one arrived here and things and creatures took over this continent. You don't know why, you don't know how. That's the first timeline. Thousands of years ago, perhaps hundreds of years ago, you don't know. Then the second is 6 months ago, the sun starts up again. People send expeditions, people arrive. So we're only really dealing with long ago or the past 6 months. Those are the only two timelines that exist.
For some reason, I thought Heist had been here for a full generation. Like Emma had been born here and then...
No.
Okay.
All these buildings, again, when you arrived, new structures other than the temple, which is like dwarven made, which was kind of built around it, And again, part of that, as you guys have stood here, you could kind of picture at one time, maybe, this stone temple in a field of grass, a dwarven temple that just could sit out in the open, because if this was a peaceful hillside in England or something, there would be no issue to have a temple just sitting out here. Well, now, obviously, they're like, here's a strong stone structure that we can all stay in for a little bit while we build up this town. Let's do that. And they sort of bridged off from that. But if I've misspoke or if you've written down anything that exists basically between hundreds of years ago and over 6 months ago, delete it because it is not correct.
I love the new contextualization it offers, because having pictured this as its own, maybe one time ago, the only stone structure in this grassy land, so close to a heavily fortified beach, makes this seem less like a friendly temple and more like, I understand why there were things that exploded out of it.
Yeah, well, and
helped
again,
to explode out of it, but
yeah, a lot of that is based on missing pieces of information, and it's interesting what kind of assumptions you guys could make. But regardless, she sits back down behind the desk and says, again, this was a bit of a test, and I believe in your deduction skills and your investigative skills, as well as I've had no outward complaints about you yet. So I want to talk
Cole left early, did he?
Well, the lion's head. Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Lion's head.
Gone so off track. I mentioned yesterday that luck has not been our friend. Well, before this event, we've had people turning ill, not being able to work. Reese, our healer, the Firbolg, he believes it's a lack of variance in diet and so on things, the rabbits and all that kind of stuff, but I have my doubts. About 2 months ago, when the Lion's Head arrived, I'm not sure why. Again, they're not a faction that are supported anymore by anyone back west. Though a lot can change in time. They asked to stay in town. And they did for a bit, and ended up causing a little too much trouble for what it was worth. I asked them to leave. Their leader, Sident Tezo, was none too happy about it. Things went south pretty quickly about that. And I'm starting to suspect that the two are connected. The truth of the matter is, I feel like there might be a few people in town, whether they are past now or still around, that might be communicating with the Lion's Head in order to hurt our establishments. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And when I asked these adventurers to come here, it was for that purpose. But I feel like you have proven yourself. And again, if you remember, there was another team on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Singing guys.
We did away with them.
Who knows what's up with them?
I'm sure they're all
they're
just
definitely
murdered
not
in
gone,
a bunch of
I
traps.
Promise you. Yeah, they're
mangled.
all dead.
My goodness. I am looking forward to the eventual reunion at some point. I'm kind of dreading it, but I am looking forward to it at the same time.
It's going to be very much a Thanos, where you guys are like, well, and they'll be like, who are you? They're like, are you?
I don't even know who you are.
Do we know you? Are you? Yeah. I don't even know who you are.
Cool.
I just from everything we've heard, and I don't know if this is a party discussion or something we can just discuss openly in front of Megaline. Does everything sound like it's related enough that this is the only group of instigators we have to worry about? Or does it seem like it's a couple of groups doing different things? Because I'd hate to hear that there's more than one group of people trying to tear this part in from the...
Considering there are so few people left here, I would presume that it's just the one set of instigators, or else this place would have crumbled long ago.
She sort of nods. She says, I'm not entirely sure. All I know is this. The Lion's Head, when they were here, made a great deal of enemies, but they also made some friends. In fact, so much so that some left with them when they left. I believe they established their base to the west of here. To the east of here, sorry. But I do suspect that a number of things that have been going wrong have been their instigation. I think they want to see this place crumble from the inside.
I had to do a bit of a never eat shredded wheat thing.
Yeah, me too. That's why I said
and I'm still kind of like, which way was it? That way. Never eat. Okay. So from what I remember from the map, the windmill is sort of in the northeast direction.
Correct. Yep.
So if they were to have, the Lion's Head was to have a base to the east, is it kind of, so basically to the east.
It'd be far east, she pipes up. I have not been there myself. It's probably about a day's travel, if not more.
Okay.
Again, we did not part on great terms. So, all I want you to do, after you deal with Robert Thompson, is come back to me. I'll offer more information. There's like a knocking on her door, and she's like, yeah, there's a few things I need to put out fires with, especially with Cole being gone. Look, come back after Robert is dealt with, however you see fit. In this town, just so you know, typically people who break the law, we have a set of rules to do with them, the main being exile. However, this is an act that slayed some of the town's most notable and powerful people. I don't think he needs to come back at all. And she sort of nods and exits the room. Because again, when Garrus is here, she'll offer more. But I think you guys have a
She's
burning...
basically saying, like, you can kill him if you want.
Basically, yeah. It's funny because there's a lot of rules I have of this town that haven't really come up yet. But, like a simple crime and punishment in this town is a toe removal. Like, they just lob off your toe. And then...
That guy who Garrus so helpfully detongued...
Yeah.
That's. I hope he did something bad in a previous life at least, because damn,
probably.
He's paid up.
And then beyond that, it's exile, and then because here exile is death. Like it's 100% the Wild West, right? Like, there's nothing else you can do.
Unless you're friends with the Lion's Head, in which case they're just going to take you in.
Yeah, but no one here is. I mean, that's true. So
you do also have to get there.
Yeah.
I'd like to go ahead and preemptively track and see if there were any fresh footsteps that went to the windmill and how recent, if possible.
Great idea. So I'm going to push you guys that direction.
Track
because again, yeah, so I think you all leave Megaline's house in the early morning and you exit through sort of the northeast gate.
Mm-hmm. Rested.
What's that?
Rested finally.
And fully back to spell slots.
Yay!
You guys are all level 4, right?
Level 4.
Yeah.
Feels so good.
Kyla, give me a roll. Give me a...
I got a natural 20 on my survival.
Oh,
yeah!
Wow!
Starting us off right.
Can somebody can see that? Somebody's on TV Beyond. You can see it?
No, but we believe you, cheater. Yeah, you immediately notice 2 sets of footprints. One from a large, heavy-set, leather armor-wearing dragonborn, and one from a human. He walks with a bit more of a nobler step, you know, pressure on his back heels as if he's trying to keep his back straight. That's what you get with the natural 20. I mean, that's a pretty...
That's
yeah,
good.
no, that's the best. I'm like Bones.
Bones.
I figured that out.
I've never
His shoe
seen
size.
Bones, but to me, Bones is like the ultimate married couple show, and that's to say that we probably like it. But I feel like it's always the brunt of a joke, being like, "Oh, let's go home and watch Bones." That's the only thing I know about
it was. Yeah.
It just seems like,
But yeah,
well,
but like it was a forensic show, and she was like a genius about like figuring out things from the bones.
Oh, that's cool. No, I mean, I love shows like that. I've seen Castle, and I watch all that kind of stuff.
It is goofy, and it is.
No, it's
TV,
just to me, it's just funny because it feels like a punchline of like of a wine snuggie, cheese board, and bones.
What's wrong with that, man? Come on.
I'm stressing. I need to stress
Harlan's
this
trying
clearly.
so hard to like justify the guilty pleasure.
I'm stressing that I'm not bashing it. I'm embracing it and saying it sounds like a fucking punchline. Anyway, regardless, yes, you see the footprints in the lead.
we get in a huddle and we discuss it. Like I discuss it with Brea and Sal.
Yeah.
So far, that aligns what we've heard.
One of them is a noble. One of them is one of them is a dragonborn, and wearing armor, and I give them all the lowdown.
That sounds like what we were expecting.
Now, out of curiosity, can I ask Kala if she can tell? Because we heard from the Dragonborn, whose name I forgot. It was cool though. I remember
Lawrence Ellis.
That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
This guy had said that he had sort of run ahead. He'd run at his own speed, and then this other guy just kind of fell behind. Could Kala see if this is somebody who intentionally was running slower than maybe would be expected, or if he started to slow down for a certain reason, or basically was his plan always to run off, or did he actually get left behind?
Great question. Kala, with a natural 20, I'm going to say you can deduce that.
If you wanted to.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, it does seem like the human footsteps were both. That it couldn't keep up and also started to veer towards the windmill pretty early on.
Okay. That's a good sign. Go, Kala, go. Lead us.
Okay,
yeah.
Let's go.
And you head towards...
I put on my Kala camo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
TM.
And you head towards it. You head towards the windmill.
Before we finish our final approach toward the windmill, Brea's just gonna pull out her eye tooth and give it to Kala. She's like, here, take this token. Take it.
Take your eye tooth.
For fun?
No, I don't want to. Fine, I take it.
Take it, coward.
So this, if you scout ahead or if I scout ahead or whatever, this will allow us to telepathically communicate.
Oh, good. I don't have to eat
eye
it.
tooth.
No, you don't have to eat it or snort it or anything.
Okay, all right. I
just hang
Snort
it.
it. Snort the eye tooth.
I put it under my sweat warmer, my leather.
You got sweatbands.
Eye tooth sweatbands.
Awesome.
Form of gross. You approach, and as you approach this windmill, you notice it's very interesting. It's sort of, you have a dwarven built tower, and this sort of pieced with the temple. You sort of close your eyes and imagine the time ago, when this was again that green field, or maybe a wheat field, this large windmill that would churn the wheat that might be growing in this large field. It stands sort of strong and thick against the landscape, and you understand the synchronatic nature, or I should say the synergy of the two. This temple where they would typically brew meads and things like that, the wheat here. There was probably another building around here that very well you might come across. But you kind of understand the flow of this land suddenly a little bit more. However, built onto it, you see something more Hagrid looking, a house of sorts. It looks to be built of black wood, rotted trunks, all of it sort of haphazardly put together. It doesn't exactly speak to the 6 months ago, nor the 600 years ago. This is definitely something similar to the creatures that clearly existed below the crust of this earth that did embrace the night. This was a building that exists within those two times. So now I'm going to convolute it. There you go.
Additionally, the shack that we stayed in, that had all those needle blights in it.
Yes.
That would also be something that was kind of in the intermediary.
No, that was the
timeline,
before
right?
times.
Okay.
That was before
So
time.
that was
Okay.
A 1,000-year-old shack.
There you go. We'll say 3. We'll say there's the before times, now, and then there's the middle.
The middle times.
This is a middle
In between.
time building.
So this is a Middle Times house.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. So this shack is in worse shape than the one that was from the before times.
Yes.
Okay.
The best of times, it was the middlest of times.
And I had another question just because, again, like the beach traps have me thinking about it in a whole new light.
Yeah.
This windmill seems to be built as sturdily and with as much fortification, I guess, as the temple was. Like the level of brick width and everything.
Yeah.
And it does not, from the map, seems like it's so far away from everything else that if the fence or the wall had just kind of turned a little bit, it probably would have been all in the same general area without being too much larger.
Correct.
So am I right in thinking that it was a very deliberate choice to not include the windmill,
Yes.
despite having been in this sort of feral area?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Again, I mean, the fence is from the now times. They
Yes.
built it. Yeah. So they were like, saw this windmill. I mean, it makes sense, right? From what
Yeah.
you know, there's a banshee that lives there. Why would they include it? Obviously, they scouted it. They didn't like it.
Come
They're
on
like,
in,
fuck it.
Banshee.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what we're saying now is that we are now down to 3, approaching a building that an entire village did not.
Exactly.
They're not as cool as us.
That is true. That is true. Cool. It's cool. It would have an ice knife.
I don't know. The fact that Medulla just revealed some information after the fact to us, like, oh, I'll tell you a secret, means that they could be hiding something about the windmill, too.
It's true.
Like, I mean, they know how would they know about the Banshee and any details regarding the windmill if they never visited it, right?
You think
Or-
we're being
or
taken
survived.
advantage of?
Well,
True.
not necessarily, but there is. If Medulla had the capability of hiding or omitting at least one fact, then that means that the door is open. That there could be
That's
many,
true.
many other.
See, I like the way
facts that
Kala
are
thinks.
Good point.
Thank you.
Good point.
Great point. Now, Kala goes first.
Oh!
It happened. Yes.
Yeah, you approach to see this windmill sitting menacingly against the sun-filled sky. Again, the windmill being one building, there's a second construction to have these two pieces. And this main windmill, which seems to have... What are you doing?
I'm listening for a Banshee.
Oh, you're throwing me off. There's this main windmill and this homestead. Again, long since seemingly abandoned on the outside. There's no roaring fire or smoke billowing out.
Okay.
And the dwarven construction of the tower seems almost juxtaposed to this black, rotted wood looking, almost like a shack is sort of how it feels to you guys as you approach. But you sort of scout the tower, maybe not approaching too close at first, to see that whatever door might have been here long ago is well sealed shut, like it's concreted over almost. And it seems like the only entryway is through the homestead.
That's what I was going to ask, because I do not want to have to go through that. My thought is we would have a much easier time going through the shack if the shack was not there. So, what are people's thoughts towards removing the dirt from underneath the shack so we get a nice little bit of a sinkhole? No more shack.
You'd have to, so to put it in perspective, it's
But
not,
we don't know who's in there, right? Like,
it's
Well,
like,
that's
it's
true.
like 25 by 25 feet. Like it's a big, it's like a house. You know what I mean? Like
But it's also dilapidated, and it shouldn't take
Yes.
that much to blow it over, sort of thing.
I mean, you can try. I'll tell you this. If someone is home and you're destroying their shack and they have the high ground advantage, I think it might be a short fight.
That is true.
I
Just
think
see someone leaning up from the windmill. Okay. lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt.
I think we would lose the element of surprise if we undertook a demolition project.
Additionally, it would take a lot to make a sinkhole from 5 feet of cubic of dirt at a time. You'd be like, okay, 1, okay, 2, okay. It's not Minecraft.
That's true. That is true.
It kind of is.
It'd be kind of cool if it was Minecraft, actually.
Well, it's every 6 seconds, right? She gets to move a 5x5 cube.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't move it through the house. Like, you have to find a way to move it.
You go from the corner and you move it out from the corner. You do like a nice little hole until it slides in.
I guess it's just in D&D. It's just time, right? Like yeah, sure. You could just keep doing it and doing it. It's just gonna take all day and night and maybe the next day and of course not. Yeah, it's not.
The other element is the only opposition you've had in this game, for the most part, has come from beneath. So you could also be like, guys, it's working, and then you like get into a
open up
patch
a cavern
of like monsters. They just all start pouring out. No!
The spider's back! Hooray!
Yeah,
that is true. You raised some very good points. So I feel like those.
But you should do it because it'd be hilarious.
I want to climb the windmill. Can I do that?
You could, sure.
And I'm saying these as ideas to try. I'm not proposing we do anything just yet because I'd like to run this by cooler heads before we, lose ours. So
yeah,
one
it's like
approach
a 5-story windmill, but you could do it if you wanted to.
Okay.
I mean, it's a sheer climb.
You might destroy the house if you like.
We could.
Or
I'm sorry, I was
got a crazy idea. Just go into the house.
I'm not. Brea, we need your thoughts on this. We have under, we have over.
You said that the entryway into the windmill appears to be well bricked over.
Correct.
Are there any arrow slits, windows, other means of observing us from the windmill on upper levels, maybe, that we can see by our cursory perimeter search?
No.
Okay. So, even if we climb up the windmill, we're not going to be able to get in necessarily.
Oh, the top is a wooden roof, yeah?
I mean, yeah, you could climb up, hack a hole into the roof, drop down to whatever that floor is. Yeah, you could do that if you.
There's a perfectly good shack sitting right here.
I mean, you don't
I think
have
perfectly
to.
good's a bit strong.
It looks not in the best repair. I'll give you that, Sal. But let's investigate this shack first. And if it bears little fruit, we will go and dig our way into the windmill.
I think that's a fair compromise.
It's a small shack. I'm sure there are no strange stairs leading down into the darkness.
Uh-oh. Delete. Just kidding. It's funny because part of me is like, you guys are so silly. But then I'm like, well, the first thing I threw at you guys was a big hole in the side, and you all hated that. So clearly you're doing what I want you to do, which is to investigate other options. So, yeah, I mean, do whatever you want. If you want to try to break down this bricked up door, you can do that. If you want to try to climb it, you can do it. You do whatever you want.
I'd like, actually, you know what? That probably
You climb the shack and get to the tower. Because again...
No, we're going to go in. We're going to
go in.
But as you're examining it too, like you can give me a perception check if you want to try to piece this thing together.
Okay.
I would like to see if it seems like...
I rolled a 7.
Okay, yeah, you don't see shit. You're like, I think that's a windmill.
I don't see shit.
I want to roll survival and take a look to see if we got any more freaking Robert Thompson tracks leading into the windmill.
Oh yeah, you see
whatever.
them clearly. Like Cal has put them all out.
Where do they go?
They're going to the front door.
Well, there you go. Let's go get them.
All right.
That's true. If he's
I mean, you think he's going to be scaling the side of this thing?
No, but if there's like a
Asora
secret hole in the side,
Yeah,
you know.
no.
Okay. That is actually an excellent point.
No, like, okay, it's tough to like gather insight from the tracks. But Kala, with a natural 20, like these are tracks that couldn't keep up, right? And they're tracks that veered off. And maybe like 20 feet away from where they veered off from the Dragonborn, they like stop, turn back, then turn back to the windmill, then take a step, then stop and turn back. and then turn back to the windmill and then continue towards the windmill. Like, here's a guy, and piece together what you've seen. There was an explosion. People died. He didn't go in, but he saw them go in, and he's sitting outside. The Dragonborn's like, I'm going to go see if I can get help. And he's like, yeah, I'll come along. There's a bit of psychology that you can kind of guess, where this guy's like, they're going to figure out it's me, especially because Meduline was like, yeah, I kind of thought it was him too. He's like, I can go back to town, or I can not keep up with this Dragonborn, or I can go to literally the only other building I've ever seen in my life here and hope for the best. That's what your natural 20 gets you.
and if Carla were to have so graciously kind of explained that to us in her own words.
Yeah, she's doing it like Aragorn, you know? He's like, 2 hobbits lied here. They cut their binds. Like, Cal's like on the ground, like doing the whole fucking like step by step.
Manure.
He went into Fangorn Forest.
And then he breaks his toe when he kicks a rock.
That's the only special feature I know about the toe thing.
That's what everyone knows about.
Yeah, so there you go. I've made it to that. But my whole thing is, if he was that indecisive going towards this place, then it's very likely that he wouldn't be expecting any. He's not using it as a safe haven. He doesn't know that that's the first place he should beeline to. He's a little bit unsure. So if he did walk in there,
still.
he might not have. But if he is, he's more likely to have been a corpse on the way in, having found the traps for us. So we should be safe, at least until we see a corpse or anything dragged from where it may have fallen. So we should be okay.
Yes.
Logic sounds.
Yeah. I would like to actively look for any traces, if we go in, actively look for any traces of something having been dragged, because that would be the starting point where we should not step.
Great idea.
And then we'll sinkhole it.
I sneakily approach the hut.
Great idea. Yeah. You sneak up towards this dark wood building. You kind of put your hand on the wall and you feel this cold, wet wood. It's sort of like large sheets of blackened plywood almost that are... If you didn't know better, you'd swear that these were like almost wood shavings. Like giant wood shavings. You know how that looks when you see someone whittle? Imagine that, but massive, black, and thin. You know, and they're sort of almost like plastered against the wall, giving the building the appearance as if it's like flaking away.
Ew.
Interesting.
That's very interesting.
I hate this shack.
Yeah, I love it.
I like the concept of it, at least.
What's the door like if this shack is in such poor...
The same, yeah. I mean, it doesn't...
Is
it's
it
funny that you kind of
closed?
press
Is there a
it. It
knob?
feels solid. It feels solid. It just feels like... You almost get more of an animalistic vibe, as if this is less of a house and more of a hive or a...
This thing is gonna eat us.
No, but
I vote no.
You know, like a bird's nest. You know how like a bird makes a nest?
Sure.
Like,
It's not engineered. It's just built.
and yet, if you look at a bird's nest, they're brilliant. You know, the way that they thread all the little needles and make it secure. No?
Needles?
Or sorry, little pine needles or sticks or whatever,
yeah.
you know. That's the thing you focus on?
Ahmed looks like disgusted by the idea of a bird's nest.
I'm just trying to say it's like...
terrible. I don't want to go
needles
in there.
are also-
I was going to
It's like a
go in
nest.
up until that point of description. Now I don't want to go in.
He has
I have
attacked
no
us with needles
justification.
before.
Oh, that's right.
This is going to be terrible. So I uncover my my axe that I've been hiding. And I run around to make sure nobody...
Oh, fuck. This axe, though.
I forgot about the axe, too.
Us all.
I untie the axe up from like, because it was securely on my person, and I kind of like hang it down and get ready to fight. But like,
I'm gonna make you in charge of the axe rules, by the way, because I'm not watching that. So
I'm
good. I'm trusting your
can't
honesty here.
I can't wait.
For the uninitiated or those who don't remember, Ahmed is cursed with the Berserker axe, which basically means he needs to attack anybody.
Yeah, well,
Whoever's
when
closest.
I get hit, I roll a save, and if I fail, I go berserk.
And what's
And I
the
become
like?
bloodthirsty.
What's the like end condition for the berserk?
Oh, I didn't read
Thing's
that
dead.
far.
Just
Everybody's dead.
Yeah, I think it was within reach or within
While
running
berserk,
distance.
you must use your action each round to attack the creature nearest to you with the axe. If you can make extra attacks as part of the attack action, you use those extra attacks, moving to attack the next nearest creature after you fell your current target. If you have multiple possible targets, you attack one at random. You are berserk until you start your turn with no creatures. Oh God.
Within 60 feet.
Within 60 feet of me that I can see her.
Good.
Here.
I can outrun you. That's all I
Okay.
care about.
Okay, but it's that you can see
I don't
her
know
here.
that you can. I'm pretty fast.
I'm
So you guys got
40
to get
feet.
ready on your like casting silence and blindness.
So I just want to be clear. You are taking us to a cabin in the woods with some
We don't know
orc
that he's
with an
Brazilian.
axe.
Made by a creature, not built by a person.
Are we gonna go into a cellar and find some book and just start reading from it? Because like,
Absolutely. Then I'm gonna get a chainsaw
All right.
arm.
oh, it's
All
gonna
right.
be awesome. But still, all right. Well, this
So
house.
I
So
slowly
you have
open.
two
Yeah.
solutions to this. I just thought of. Number
What?
one, it only triggers if Kala gets hit.
Yeah.
So that is number one. Get Kala the best armor you can, and the highest AC. And two, just make sure Kala's dog is always nearest to her.
Yep.
Because all it's gonna happen is Kala's gonna
She's gonna kill her dog
and
immediately.
constantly get pets.
I'm gonna kill everything because I'm good at doing that. So
This is gonna be the saddest version of Marley and Me anyone's ever seen for the holidays.
The shortest version of Marley and me. The saddest, shortest version.
Puppy, you said? Okay. All right.
the quintessential
Bray, I
version.
believe you were the one who was bravely out of the three of us
I
approaching to
am,
check.
yes. I stealthily approach.
Yeah, give me a stealth roll.
I will do so. That's only a 12.
Yeah, okay. You walk up. You're next to the door. Mm-hmm. You don't hear anything on the inside.
I open.
It doesn't even like squeak. It like
you have to like hum at it or something.
no. It drags across the floor. It's like clearly doesn't even like line up. It's like,
Was it even used?
It's kind
was
of like
it used?
pushing paper.
Is this
Was it
the
used?
first time it was used?
no,
'cause
it's been used. It's just like a really shoddy
just
build.
sucks.
Okay.
And you enter.
Yeah,
or
I look
in
inside.
at least
I look in.
from this western door. You see this decayed room. Piles of debris lie in heap on what you would guess is sort of like a pounded sandstone floor. You see the sun shining through cracks in like the boards on the far side. It's like haphazardly done, all gnarled and rotting. And you see leaning against the walls are sort of these wicker figures. They're about 5 feet tall. And they look, going back to Bird's Nest, as if someone took a figure and made it a man or a woman out of wicker, almost like a scarecrow, but they're not standing on anything. They're just sort of these large, human-shaped dolls, and they're expressionless. They have no features or figures other than just this wicker that's been sort of tightened around the neck and maybe around the arms, and they're in different poses. And they're just leaning against the walls. And the ceiling is about 12 feet high. Again, the room is
12 feet?
dark despite the sun shining through. And you see that there is a door to the north here.
Brea moves close to one of the figures, drawing her dagger, and she gives it a jab in the sides as she telepathically messages Kala and says, "All is quiet in here."
Yeah.
And then I stab one of the dolls.
Yeah, you stab one of them, and you sort of...
to the tooth.
Your blade almost sinks into it. Like, it's like kind of mud on the inside, maybe. And it sort of like hisses as you do it. Give me a damage roll.
Okay. Unfortunately, I can't receive messages back, so I get to talk to you, but you don't get to say anything.
Is it gonna explode?
I don't know. I deal 4 piercing damage with my dagger.
You do 4 piercing damage? Yeah, okay. Your like blade sort of hisses into this thing. And then it reaches forward and attacks you back. It sort of swipes at you, and you see from this wicker arm these claws extend.
Are
And
these the people that made this house?
You
Is the
don't
Wicker
know that
family
yet.
made the house?
And
We're
she
not even
says-
in there. I'm
she
not allowed to say
says,
anything.
"Scratch that! Get in here now!"
And it reaches forward and swipes at you with a 17 plus 3. It's a dirty 20 to
That'll
hit.
do it. That gets me.
It takes 6. You take 6 slashing damage.
All right.
Give me a DC 11 Wisdom saving throw.
Shit. Nice. 16.
Nice. Yeah, you feel okay, and then it attacks you again
Frightened maybe?
with a 15.
Or poison?
That hits.
Wait,
That
wisdom,
hits.
wisdom.
Another
Frightened.
6 slashing damage.
That's not good, guys.
Roll again.
And as it sort of sits forward, this wicker blank face just like shudders and small like pieces of broken brittle twig fall down, but it keeps its form.
Gross.
And then the other one in the other corner sits forward as well and stares at you. Give me a DC 11 Wisdom saving throw.
Oh,
Wow.
can I leave?
No.
I fail.
You are paralyzed.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
But that is their turn. Everyone roll for initiative.
Okay. Okay.
How many? You said there were 4 of them?
2.
Oh, 2.
16.
16.
I thought for some reason I was picturing a Wicker family. I don't know why.
I hated that.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, you stabbed it, so.
As a
I
person,
just wanted to see if it was alive, and it was.
It was.
I just rolled a natty 20 on my initiative.
Nice.
Yay! That's 2 for 2.
Oh, that's
Call it
bad.
forever.
That's bad news. That's bad news.
as a person, all of that was the greatest thing I've ever heard. That was amazing. It was horrifying. It was awful. As a character, Sal's not going to mention it until he's close enough to say I told you so.
Yeah. Erica, what'd you roll?
4.
Oh, no.
His favorite. Oh, I'm on board with this. You guys, by all means, go first. Ladies first. There you are.
Yes. So polite.
I have
All
to
right.
think of something I can do to help you guys.
Kala, top of the round.
Okay, Kala cartwheels in. Like, just flies in with her blade and just picks one and just wailing on it.
So there's one
we
standing
go.
directly next to Brea, and there's one, let's say, 20 feet away.
Okay, so I have 2 weapon style. I have the hand axe in one arm, short sword in the other,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna attack, the closest one. First the hand axe.
Perfect.
That is a 11.
11 hits.
Nice.
Hits? Oh, 9 slashing damage. That's a
Nice.
that's a +1. It's a plus weapon, so it's magical. And then
Perfect.
the next attack is
So you said
short
9?
sword. Yes, correct. The
Perfect.
short sword is a 13 for 5 points of damage.
Amazing.
And I think that's my turn. That's my turn. Yeah, I used my bonus action for the attack. So
Good job, Kala.
Perfect.
Why don't you rest
Brea,
behind
it
me,
is your
Brea?
turn.
I'm
You are
paralyzed.
paralyzed.
Yeah, I'm just.
Do I have any recourse?
You are the reason you are so you're magically frightened until the end of this thing's next turn, and the frightened target is paralyzed. So this will end. It's a temporary paralysis. So you do nothing. Unfortunately, it is their turn now, and I think the
I'm gonna die.
creature is going to
He auto crits because I'm paralyzed.
but it might not attack you. It
Oh,
might
okay.
attack Kala because Kala
Which is slightly worse.
But then Kala's gonna kill me.
From
it's-
a meta level, slightly worse.
It's bad either way. But if you're both standing next to Kala, Kala gets to pick. As
No,
long
Kala
as
attacks at
random.
random.
Random. I'm
Which
gonna
is
be
still
rolling
better.
dice. It's gonna be
yeah, that's
a
kind of the
bloodbath.
worst.
I'll take 50-50
It's gonna be
over
a
100%.
That's fair.
It's gonna be a bloodbath.
My blood.
Optimism!
My AC is
blood.
14. FYI.
All right, well,
That's
it's gonna hit Kala. So
Great.
We'll see if it's.
Well, you get to roll a save, right? It's gonna fail.
Yeah.
Well, it's a 7, actually.
Well, that
so it's
misses.
first hit misses.
First.
And
Smack his
8,
twig hand.
9, 10, 11. 11. So both
That's a
miss.
miss.
That's
Ooh, by the skin of your ass. Perfect. And then the other scarecrow, it
God damn
moves
it.
forward. Actually, it's going to glare at you, Kala. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Glare back at it. Oh, okay. That
with
kind
its
of glare.
faceless face.
All right, here
Yeah,
we go.
that's the scariest part
Wisdom
of it.
The
save.
worst
Oh.
kind of
I
face.
got a 6.
Yeah, you are now magically frightened
No.
and paralyzed. But
And
No, I'm
paralyzed.
free.
you are so Brea is free now. Kala is paralyzed. It is Sal's turn, and Brea, you come out of it, seeing Kala frozen next to you.
Okay. Is this something where, having spent a little bit of time around you, we would like to run from?
No.
No?
No.
You're
Oh.
level 4. You're fine.
Okay. How many of these? Because I see the first Wicker Man, so I assume I can see the others that look similar
Bees.
to it. I'm assuming I'll just summon the bees if I could. Oh, that'd be amazing. Those. How many are there?
2 in the room.
Just 2?
Yep. I mean, that you
Okay.
can see, yeah, right now.
There
I
are
do not like that
innumerable underneath us, under a scant 5 feet of loose earth.
Are the well? We're gonna find out in a second. The 15.
Thousands.
The first one that's seen, the farther one that glared at Kala a second ago. He's 20 feet away from the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, from the second one. Wait, you're in the room now, or are you still outside?
I imagine I'm at least up to the door because I can't leave these guys if Kala.
Yeah,
ran
so
in.
then you're like, there's 5 feet between you and this first one, basically.
Okay, but and then the other one is 20 feet away.
Correct.
Okay, so if they're within 15 feet of each other, that would be amazing
Yeah.
because I would like to use Thunder Wave.
Okay.
All right, and I'm assuming because it is a 15-foot cube originating from me, I can do it in a way where I'm not hitting these two. Is
You're
that
trying
possible?
to hit the first one or the second one?
Well, I mean, it's everything within a 15-foot cube. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I think if you want to hit just one of them, if you want to hit the second one, you're fine. If you want to try to hit the first one, you're going to hit your friends.
All right, I'm going to hit the first one. Sorry, the farther one
I
away.
was going to say, yeah.
Yes,
Okay, cool.
thank you.
So
Okay.
you step into the room. You see Kala frozen in fear. You see Brea now relieved, although still scared. You cast Thunder Wave at the second one. Yeah. What do I have to roll? Saving throw? Or?
You will be, yes, so we're doing a saving throw of Constitution DC 11.
Plus 0. That's a 7. That's a fail.
Yes!
Nice.
All right, that is a very good sign. And as far as damage goes, ooh, I hope this is good. Oh my, so that's 17 thunder damage.
Not bad.
Excellent.
I'm pretty happy with that. Oh, I hit it
Yeah.
twice for some reason.
Yeah.
So 7. I got that again. So that is 1d8, and then in addition, so is also pushed 10 feet away,
Oh, cool.
which is great.
Yeah.
In addition, I bring this up because I'm not really sure how this is going to impact anything in the shack. But in addition,
Nothing.
unsecured objects that are completely within the area of effect are automatically pushed 10 feet away.
Yeah,
by
everything's
spell's
sort of
effect.
like the piles of debris just like gonna go up in
Okay.
this like huge display of force. It's kind of awesome. Unfortunately, it fucks up any like tracking that you might have wanted to do in this room, but it looks amazing. And the creature gets pushed against the back wall, and you see as it's pushed against the back wall, it's like blank face like parts in like sort of
Oh!
like a circle like this. You kind of see it's just mud within, just this like thickness of mud, this blank expression, but you can see it sort of has control over the wicker, and it snaps back almost as if it was glaring at you like an eye on its side, and it did not like that.
I love it because I hate it so much.
Yeah,
Last
great
thing.
job, Sal.
Last thing. The
Yep.
spell emits a thunderous boom, audible out to 300
Yeah,
feet.
everyone hears it in the world.
Okay.
Gross.
So,
So-
everything knows that you're here. So
Surprise!
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, if that's all we can do, great. I
That
think
one
I'm,
guy's still alive?
you're still alive. Yeah, no one. It didn't take damage. You didn't take damage.
last thing, before we go. This thing that I saw its face a little bit. Do I know anything about it? Does that
No.
look familiar at all?
No, you guys
No?
don't know
Okay.
any of this.
All right, fair enough.
So, top of the round, Ahmed, you are paralyzed,
Yeah.
so you can't do much. That's
it.
okay.
That's it.
Brea, it is your turn.
Brea is going to get away from this creature.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to stab it with my rapier.
Okay.
17 to hit.
That hits.
Great. Unfortunately, I'm not going to deal sneak damage, but that's all right. That's 5 piercing.
5 piercing. Okay.
Then I'm going to use my mobile feat because I just hit that creature with a melee attack. I don't provoke opportunity attacks from him.
Cool.
I'm going to run. Gonna
Where are you
run
running?
out of the room,
Okay, you run away.
just past Sal, and then I pull my bow out.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay, you pull your bow out, and
And
that's
you
your
know
turn.
what? I'm gonna hide.
Okay.
I'm gonna hide behind a whole bunch of like tall grass and a crate and stuff.
Okay. Well, it's these things' turn. Unfortunately, there's only one that's engaged with Ahmed or Kala,
Advantage.
and they both auto crit. I'm pretty sure because you're paralyzed. So that's
Shit
going to
doesn't
be
think about that.
2 hits.
Wait, let me look this up.
How many hit points do you have?
36.
Oh, you're paralyzed.
Can't go berserk if you're
You're
dead.
paralyzed.
So
I mean,
take,
she probably skilled.
you take 18 damage
Oh my god!
as this thing hits you twice and auto crits. So all the damage dice are rolled twice. So that's actually not bad considering.
Oh, any attack is critical, meaning
Yes. When you're
They have to roll
paralyzed,
the
any
attacks,
attack against
right?
you is critical. Yeah. What's that?
they have to roll the attacks, right? Like, are the attacks automatic?
No, they
attack that hits a creature's
automatically-
critical hit.
Yeah. They're automatically a critical hit.
Because you're just standing there.
Yeah. Because there's nothing you can do. You can't
Okay.
dodge it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Any attack that hits the creature. Oh, so attack rolls against the creature have. Oh, no, I guess you're right. You still have to roll. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage. Any attack that hits is critical. Oh, I've always played that wrong.
There you go. We all learned
Well,
something.
you're playing at the 3 point.
So,
way,
okay, well,
like
no,
I-
that's
like I used
fine.
to
We'll
do.
roll first. So that's going to be a. Oh, 13 to hit. That misses anyway. So there you go. You've just halved your damage.
Oh, well, don't forget advantage.
Yeah, I know. I rolled that with advantage. Does a 16 hit you?
Yep.
Yeah, so you take 9 points of damage.
All right.
Not bad. We didn't play
I mean,
that.
oh no.
It's good to know.
So and now I have to roll a save now, right?
Now
So,
you don't have to
Whenever
save.
a hostile creature damages while the axe is in my possession, I must succeed on a Wisdom 15 saving throw or go berserk. Okay,
Well-
but you're saying because I'm paralyzed, you're going to.
You're
going to
paralyzed right
offset
now.
that. Okay.
So I'm going to say right now you don't have to roll anything like that.
Okay.
Additionally, it's the creature's end turn. The other creature that's 20 feet away from Sal is going to start moving towards Sal, and it
Okay.
does with its full movement, and then it's going to attack.
Okay.
Sal, does a 12 hit you?
Yes.
12 hits you?
Yeah, I only have 11.
It's okay.
Wow.
It's like 5e AC is always
Well,
generally
3 damage.
Yay!
And then it's going to hit you again with a 8.
8 to AC, you said?
8, yeah.
11.
That does not hit. Huh, I don't know
you
what you
need
guys
to
are
do-
complaining about.
Now do a DC 11 wisdom saving throw.
Oh, come on.
Or be paralyzed.
No, the paralyzing is a look. This is a result of the attack.
I got a 3.
Okay, so you are frightened until the end of this thing's turn.
I mean, that's just method RP, because very much
already
has.
am. Yes, so you have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while you can see this thing, and you cannot move closer to it.
Okay, so just seeing this thing, that's all it is.
Yeah, you just have disadvantage. If you stay where you are, you just have disadvantage, basically.
Okay.
Perfect. It is your turn. And now Kala is unparalyzed. But I feel like because you literally couldn't do anything, like you were paralyzed with fear, I don't think you need to make your roll for the Berserker Axe. I think logistically it doesn't actually
Cool.
make sense. So you're lucky.
Very,
Sal.
very happy with that. Okay, when you were talking about the inspiration change, you said that there was a possibility of changing it so it would be after we could reroll.
Yes, that is the way we're doing it now. Inspiration can now be rolled after the fact.
I would very, very much like to do that because the thing that is in front of us, in front of Kala and I,
Yeah.
has that taken damage yet, or has that just been
Yes, both have taken damage. You thunder waved. The one that's in front of you, Sal, you thunder waved. The one that's in front of Kala, both her and Brea had done some damage too.
Okay, I'm going
Brea
to
has
help.
done Yeah, you stabbed it first.
I thought that was the one that was attacking me.
Yeah. Sal's got the one that moved across the room that she thunder waved.
Oh, okay.
And then the one that Kala is in front of. Sal's
it.
kind of between two, I'm
Got it.
envisioning. But only one's directly in confrontation with you, Sal. And that's the one you thunder waved.
Okay, well, I'm going to use nice poison spray at the one that's in front of us.
Nice.
Which is a save for you of Constitution 11.
That's a 6 plus
Yeah!
nothing. So yeah, that's a fail.
Awesome.
Yeah!
How much
Which
damage?
means you get 2 points of poison damage.
Oh no.
Yay.
That's good.
Now, is that something that I could have used an inspiration on?
You could have, but as you watch, I mean, you could have, but it wouldn't have done anything better, right? Like,
Okay.
It's for a reroll. You spray poison on this thing, and you see no reaction whatsoever. It just kind of stands there.
Oh!
Yeah.
My fear stink did not contribute to the situation.
Unfortunately. No.
Maybe you could try base next.
Next up is Kala. Kala, top of the round.
Alkaline spray.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. All right, so yeah, I'm just gonna continue the onslaught, attack the one that's in front of me.
Yeah.
Berserker Axe. 19 for 10 points of damage.
Definitely is for
Oh.
10.
Yeah. for
Nice.
10. That's
Nice.
the Berserker
Let's finish
Axe,
this
but-
up.
Yeah, this thing's
And
barely
then this
standing.
is a dirty 20, 9 points of piercing damage.
Yeah,
Short sword.
it shatters into a pile of wicker pieces as it falls to the ground.
Excellent.
And you see within this this mud slug sort of falls flat and sort of writhes
Ew.
a little bit
Can I
before
step
sort
on
of you crush it and it crumbles to clay pieces.
Like ash.
Yeah. Yeah, but
disgusting.
it rides for a little bit. It's like this wet mud, and then you step on it and just and then all the
Imagining-
pieces turn to that bright clay and just sort of dissipates.
You know those slug monsters from Animorphs that go in your ear?
Yes.
And then-
That's
Yes.
what I'm imagining.
That's what it is. It's like that.
Great.
Great job.
You know
That one's dead.
Animorphs.
I remember Animorphs, but I don't remember those.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you don't
anything
really
else,
remember
Kala?
them. They just sort of resurface in your nightmares.
Kala, is that the end of your turn?
Oh, yeah, that's my turn.
Brea, it is your turn.
Oh,
Excellent.
I point my sword at the other one and I say, "You will be a campfire next."
I
That's
love it. Brea, well, the other wicker creature is in confrontation with Sal.
Yes,
So Brea's gonna pop up and sneak attack that fool.
absolutely.
That is 12 to hit,
That hits.
and I will deal this much damage. 12 piercing damage.
Yeah. It shatters in a spray of wicker, and the same thing. This wet clay slug falls to the ground. Sal kicks it, and it shatters against the wall of the room.
Gross. I'm not doing great.
Great job, everyone.
Yeah.
I'm below half my hit points.
What
So-
did we bring to help with this?
I go into my pouch and I pull out a string of good berries. And
Ooh.
Yeah.
I give how many points do you guys need? Because I get 10 for each casting, right?
I lost 12 hit points just then.
I lost 3, so I'm not the priority.
Okay, all right. I give Brea 7 and I give Sal 3.
Oh,
Thank you
Well,
so much.
Brea, do you need the 3 or
Nope,
am I?
nope,
Okay,
I'm good.
thank
You
you.
just eat them all
great.
at once.
Oh god, did you want something? No.
Thank you.
Oh,
Good job.
These are so good. They're good berries. You like that?
I don't know.
Perfect. So you're standing in this sort of
These are great berries.
decrepit room. Showers of clay in the corner.
Given that noise that was emitted from my spell, do we hear anything else if we listen?
Ooh, anything responding? Is there a banshee wail in the distance?
Yeah, you listen for a second. Give me a perception roll.
I shall.
It's the quietest banshee ever.
I rolled a 14.
Yeah.
Ooh, I did great.
Ooh.
I rolled a dirty 20.
Nice.
Yeah, you don't hear anything, unfortunately.
Can I roll
So-
that over and look around? Like good eyesight.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else in this cabin? What's in the
I
cabin?
like kick some like rubble around. Sal like destroyed so much of everything in here that I just kind of sift through things with my feet.
What was it again?
30-20 perception.
Yeah, you kick over a stone that's in the corner, and you see that there's a little hollow in the floor, only about half a foot down, and it looks like a little cubby. And you bend down to see a leather-wrapped bottle containing some liquid of some sort, and a pouch holding 46 gold and 114 silver pieces.
Wow. You're welcome.
What does this liquid look like? Is it blood?
It is actually it's a deep silver. Almost like yeah, it's deep silver.
I uncork it and I sniff it.
Yeah, it smells like magic.
I take a little bit on the end of my pinky finger and I
Yeah,
rub it on
look
my
like that.
gums. What?
Oh, you're just doing it for fun.
I want to see if I can tell what it is.
No, you can't do that.
Turn
Can't
over
you know how it
cocaine.
works? You don't get a little bit of healing from a little bit of a healing
No.
potion.
I mean, I want to see
No,
if I
she
can
just wants
tell
to
what it is.
identify.
Yeah, roll
She's
Arcana or
just trying to
something.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
could
what I'm
I
saying. If you're
roll-
doing it for flavor, that's fine. But if you're like trying to taste it to get a bit of the magic to figure out what it is,
Of course.
it doesn't work like
8.
that. 8? Yeah, you have no idea.
Is Arcana the only thing I can roll, or can I use medicine or investigate it?
If it's
Sure.
medicine?
History? I don't know. Nature? Whatever you can justify. I mean, Arcana makes the most sense, I think.
Okay, I'll just do
Put it
Arcana.
this way, Brea with an 8, you know it's not a poison. Like, it's not a
Okay.
harmful effect.
Hey, Sal, do you know what this is?
You said not poison, and I just stopped paying attention apparently because I got a 4.
Yeah, no, you're like, could be poison.
It could be
But
poison.
what if it is? Calla, have you ever had a potion like this before?
No. But I will drink it now if you like.
No. Let's just hold on to it. This will be our fail
Ooh,
safe.
yeah. Pocket it.
Is there a way into the windmill from here? From this?
Yeah, there's a door to
Rick-
the
Rick-
north,
Rick-
as I mentioned. It doesn't
Right.
look like it goes to the windmill. In fact, you recognize this to go, like, to the north of the windmill, where the windmill is
the-
the east of you. You know, it's
Oh, I
kind of
see.
like beside you, but...
Just a quick check, and not to be cheeky about it, but just based on my general background, could I, like, looking at the color of the scent of it, could I get like a general idea of what it would be in the couple categories that might apply?
Roll up history or a
Is-
nature. Give me something to justify what you're saying. Because
I would say history. History
Sure.
would be the thing of what I.
If you
what
roll
I've
high
seen.
enough, then I will allow that justification.
This thing teetered on a 19 and then fell onto the 1.
Yeah, you're like, it's poison for sure.
I don't know, Sal.
It's not poison, therefore I've stopped caring. I gather the ingredients from my friends. I do not produce anything with them. Okay.
By the way, I feel like maybe if Kala's not aware of the Berserker feat just yet, you know, I don't know how Kala's deciding to play it. Obviously, the party doesn't know.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know if Kala feels cursed yet. You know what I mean?
No.
Okay, cool.
Well,
I
I
was
would
gonna
Personally,
say-
the way I would play it is I really it's beyond me. Like I have no
Yeah.
idea. It goes over my head. Like it's just something. It's acting like a hormone. You know, it's just making me like. "Grr," but like I can't control it, nor am I aware of it. At least that's how I would think.
I
Unless
think
I
that's
like
somebody
great.
that.
else is like, "Yo, dude, you need to get help."
Yeah.
You know, or
'Cause I
like,
mean-
you need to see a cleric.
At
bro,
the end of
because
it,
you're
yeah,
not
you
right.
guys can remove curse and all that kind of stuff.
awesome.
But the long and short of it is, eventually, you can just... It sucks, but you can just roll with disadvantage. That's really the only penalty of using something else. Like, you'll just be like, oh, whatever, I'll just attack with this. Which sucks, but also you're not killing your friends. So it's
Well,
like
right
there is...
now, right now, I like the balance of the blade.
Well, for now, you're
I
fine
think
because
it's
you're
like,
not...
It made short work of those wooden
It did.
dudes. Like
Kala.
that was very good. Like I'm just admiring it at the moment. I'm checking
Yeah.
out the designs on it. I'm kind of into it. You know.
Additionally, if no one's within 60 feet of you, then you're also safe. So you could also just make
Right.
Sal a distance fighter. But anyway,
Well,
yeah. So you head to the door to the north, I'm assuming.
Yep.
You push through to see more rubbish on this sort of small stairwell that
Wicker
leads
rubbish?
directly up to the second floor. The rickety, sort of almost, rotten, they're so bendy, it almost like moves with your feet as you step on these wet black wood thin steps.
Stairs seems like very engineered compared to how animal. Is it maybe that this was like a house that was then like fortified by a creature?
No, it's not stairs in the traditional sense. It's like a, again, the same way a bird makes those, we're really relying on birds here, but same way the birds build that lip. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's like how anthills, they're not making like
Got bumps.
stairs. There's like ramp.
But if you were to
just
describe
bumps.
a bird nest to someone who's never seen one, you'd be like, it's kind of bowl shaped, right? You'd be like, it's a bowl. And people would be like, how do birds make bowls? That doesn't make sense. They're not smart. So the same logic applies.
Fair.
There's sort of this black, thick wood shaving stairwell, but
like
really
the
it's sort of
flakes.
piled in a way that kind of makes it feel that way. It's just a way to
Weird.
get up.
The flakes have curled off in a way that goes up enough of an incline that they effectively
Kind of.
function as stairs.
I mean, it's definitely not, whatever built this isn't unintelligent. There are just doors. It just seems like whether it's a particular style, or maybe they don't care, or maybe there's obviously a missing piece here. It's definitely not a sign of a lack of intelligence.
Does
It's
it-
just bizarre.
Does it seem like the creatures we just killed were the architects of this dwelling, or were they also made by whoever made this?
What do you think?
Oh, good
I don't think they're
question.
smart enough
At
to-
first, I thought they
Then
were
that's a good
architects,
guess.
but now
Okay.
We just broke
I,
into
I
their
think
home and
that's
ruined the
enough
family.
that you could deduce on your own. I don't think I need to handhold you there. I
Yeah.
think that's something you guys can make an educated
These are
guess.
also creations of whatever made this.
So
But
they
I
were
think
the
whatever
guards.
was created
Yeah.
were very, very light. That's the other sense that I'm getting, because dwarven architecture is so heavy to carry weight. This guy, whatever this is going up these little flakes.
Yeah. Okay. We go up the flake steps.
Yeah.
I do.
I love that, Sadie. I'm going to do that too.
Yeah.
At this point,
you
I'm
head
in.
up to the second story. Again, ancient junk. There's a bit more of an outside influence in this room, not in terms of its architecture, but you do recognize sort of trinkets, maybe of the old world. You walk over to a small pile of debris, and you pick up like a piece of the brick from the dwarven building next door. Maybe there's an old melted bronze statuette, sort of a little bit more like a animal den, and it has a little bit more of that familiarity. Give me a perception roll.
Everyone who's up the second
16.
one?
Yeah.
Whoever wants to.
Well, we're all upstairs, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. A 19.
Yeah. So Sal pushes past Brea, knocking her over.
But no, I didn't do that.
I
Even though I
just-
seem like,
just
the
did.
type 2.
You take a look
Play
at
inside.
the floor, and you notice there are bloodstains, only a few days old, sort of dotting the wooden quote-unquote boards between this and what looks to be another door leading to the other half of this room. The footprint of this room is similar to the one below, and you would know that sort of this wall leads to the other half of this room.
So these are actual blood splatters, not bloodied footsteps. So we can't see the direction, really.
Correct. Although there's only one door leading out of this room. Educated mind says it's probably.
Well,
through the
I'm
window.
more like, is somebody bleeding on the way out, escaping, or bleeding on the way in to hide?
Great question. However, Call's natural 20 detected no footprints leaving the premises.
That is true. That is true. All right. The very, very last question I have. This is sort of a Sal's interest. The wood that this is made out of, is that the wood from the trees from this immediate area, or from slightly off, or was it something that would have had to have been dragged in from somewhere else?
No,
How
it
smart
seems
is
like
this?
it's from the immediate area.
Okay.
Again, the nature of this wood is so difficult to distinguish because it's ancient, frozen for hundreds of years, if not thousands. So the very nature of the wood is sort of changed as well, This could have been from fallen trees, This could have been from a type of tree that you've never seen before. But it doesn't seem like it's foreign to this direct area.
Okay. So it's not like some massive, brought in specially for this purpose shack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'm
So?
very willing to go inside through the spooky door, but I'll wait to see if my companions have finished exploring.
Have you?
Yeah.
We
To
go
murder on?
to the spooky
Yes.
door.
Yes.
All right.
You walk through to see the final sort of room of this small abode, and you see a makeshift. It's sort of like a ladder, but it almost looks like a rope as well. It's made of something else. Like it's a stringy. It almost looks like it's been stuck together with maybe spider twine, but it's definitely not spider web. It's just this sort of pulpy type fiber that stretches up to the roof, and sort of through the hole in the roof you see the sun again, and you realize that this is the way to access the tower next door. That from here may be bridge that you couldn't see from the front that leads into the side of the tower.
So, if we were to need a quick exit, right now our option is go back up the spooky, not spider web.
Yeah.
Is everybody
And then jump off
comfortable
the
with
roof.
that, having just been, or jump off the roof? I cannot help with anyone jumping off the roof, by the way. My apologies. We're good with that? We're comfortable with those?
Yeah, we're good with that. I want to go
All
and
right.
investigate, or I guess just examine the nature of this substance that's sticking these things together. Spiderweb stuff, not spiderweb stuff.
Yeah. Give me a perception first.
22.
Yeah, you scan the sort of darker corners of this room. This room is filled with rubble, and Sky and
Ryder,
and no one
and
gets
Zuma,
that joke. Zuma.
and
And as they're Paw Patrol characters, by the way.
Oh, okay.
And as you are looking
knew
around, you see in the corner a wicker figurine, again, sort of just leaning against the wall.
Full
Fool me
size
once.
this time as well?
Same size.
Oh, I go right for it and hack it up.
No!
Okay. Everyone, I mean, well, I guess you're getting an attack of opportunity. You're running over to it,
Yeah,
and
I
you
just wanna-
attack.
Yeah, immediately.
Perfect.
I know what
Kala,
this
give
is.
me a roll to hit.
I know what this is. All right, I got a 13 for 6 points of damage with the hand axe.
You hit.
does it have like mud underneath, or is it like a blood person?
A person.
Yeah, you just killed
now a
Robert
dead
Thompson.
person.
Sorry, how much
Scrap,
damage
they
was
were-
that?
6.
6. Yeah, it immediately begins stirring. Are you taking another action? You doing your full attack, or are you just poking it?
If I can, if I may. You said attack of opportunity, so I presumed one attack.
Yeah, I'll let you do both.
Like a surprise round.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a
All right,
surprise
here comes the
round.
short sword, 14 for 9 points of damage.
Okay,
I stab deeply into this
Mm-hmm.
creature,
Wow.
abomination.
perfect. Everyone
Lucky
roll
man.
for initiative.
Oh, no!
I'm treating this one differently than the one downstairs because Brea was not expecting it to attack. That's why it surprised you, because it was essentially hiding. You damaged it, but it was incidental. You didn't realize you were. Whereas Kala is aware this thing is fighting, so
Oh.
I'm not going to give it an attack.
Totally. I.
Well, I'm saying it
absolutely-
also for the people that might be watching to be like,
No,
"Well,
that thing
he just
surprised
did
me."
it. Why wouldn't he? Yeah. Okay, what did everybody get?
16
16.
again.
18.
Nice.
3.
Damn it, you took my 3.
Wait, was that your 3 or my 3?
It
thought
should
I
have been
rolled
my 3. I would have loved to have had a 3.
I want to go first.
Perfect. Top of the round, Sal. You see Kala
Get him,
punch
Sal.
this thing or stab this thing.
In slow motion, I see horror unfolding in front of me. I want to say the most annoying thing that I have probably ever said. Can I use mold earth, knowing what I know about that thing that was hiding in it, to sort of open it and expose just that? Because I can't hurt it with mold earth.
No.
No? Okay.
No. I love the idea, but I'm doing it for flavor.
Okay.
Not mechanics. Like
That's fair.
I'm trying to create just a creepy sounding creature, but I totally get where you're coming from, and I think that's a brilliant use of it, and I'm going to give you inspiration for the idea.
Thank
'Cause I think that's a
you.
great idea.
I totally heard my own nasally voice being like, hey, can I do it? Okay, that's works too. Okay, in
No,
that case,
I love the question. But to me, this is where, like, me being flavorful, I want to be flavorful without cannibalizing.
You don't want to
know
penalize your own.
Don't want to penalize my
creativity.
own
That's true.
creativity.
That's totally fine. I'm going to then claw it because that
Nice.
just seems great. I feel like at this point, what has just happened is serious enough that I need to get on top of this. So I would like to use my primal savagery, which is my new little level 4 thing, to just claw it. That's all I have to do, right? Just claw. So I'm gonna see if I can hit. That is a 15 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Fantastic. And in terms of damage, I do 4 points of acid damage.
Okay.
Is that actually?
It seems fine. Yeah, acid, I guess, is fine.
Well, because I know poison didn't really seem to tickle its funny bone. So I'm
Yeah,
wondering
it
if
sucks
acid...
because there's like some primal stuff that most stat blocks talk about, like poison and water, but I haven't seen one yet that talks about acid. It doesn't have like a category, you know what I mean? It's not like acid is a blank. So I'm just gonna say it's fine because it's not a poison. Acid's not a poison. You know what I mean?
Spicy water.
Yeah, for real. So we're gonna call it just normal damage. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Great job.
I've
Anything
helped.
else?
Nope, that's it. Maybe backing
Cool.
away so I'm not right front and center.
Perfect. Brea, it is your turn
Yeah, Brea's gonna hit this creature with my bow,
with your sneak attack.
with my sneak attack.
Yeah.
That's a miss. Yeah,
Bummer.
8 to hit.
8 to hit. That misses. You don't have any inspiration.
Nope. You don't love me.
Well, let's not make that public.
I heard them saying we're gonna get married later this year,
I
and
know.
It
then
was a lie. He's lying.
What do you mean I'm lying? You're the
For
she's
taxes.
saying you because obviously I love you. Anyway, it is their turn. Sal, did you go right up to poison spray it or to acid spray it?
I
had to
did
claw
have to.
it.
Yes,
That's
I
what I
had to
thought.
get within.
So I'm gonna 1 to 2 Kala, 3 to 4 you. Oh, it's 3 to 4 you, which is a 2, so that misses.
Hey!
First one, and then a 4 plus that's a 7, that misses. So both swipes miss you.
Nice.
I'm feeling pretty powerful today.
Unfortunately. Yeah, you are. Kala, it is your turn.
All right. First with the hand axe, 16 for 10 points of damage. And now the short sword. That is 11 for 8 points of damage.
8, and what was the first one?
11,
10.
I think. 10.
Wait, was it? I don't know now. Hang on.
Yeah. You kill it.
Yeah.
A
Yes!
shatter of wicker
Oh, wait, no.
falls to the ground. The clay slug inside shrivels, dies, and
Yeah, I
smashes
stick
apart.
both the weapons in and I tear it apart from the inside.
Yeah. So angry. Perfect.
I do love that at this point. It just seems like Kala's really found her stride for this. Good for her.
Good for her.
Axe looks good on you.
Until she starts attacking you.
She hasn't
right.
yet.
This time I grabbed the mud being and I like smash it in my hand.
Nice.
The rest of it.
Take
so
that
proud.
slug.
So, what do you do now?
Is that the last of the Wicker people in this area? Because I've realized Kala's going to invite herself to that. I'm going to try and keep an eye out, sort of ahead.
Yeah, you don't see any in this room.
Okay. I did also find it interesting that they didn't react to that loud boom, so they didn't like summon to help their friends. They stayed on their own until they were attacked.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting to keep in mind. Beyond that,
Should we
I'm
climb
fine.
the sticky?
Well,
Yeah.
you said you were going
Ramp?
to chest it, right? See what it was.
Yeah, I just
first?
wanted to look and see what it was. but
I'd like to
then-
actually see what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so give me a nature roll.
All right. That is a 15.
Ooh, natural 20.
Ooh, nice.
That's worth it.
21.
That is really good. I like that.
You remember seeing a certain type of sticky wheat back in town of Heights.
Oh, yeah.
It had a very
Smoked it.
distinguishable texture and sort of smell. And this seems to be maybe a variant of that, or perhaps it's just what happens to that wheat when it gets very old. But this seems to be something that was crudely made from stalks of that sticky wheat. I think we called it purple something or other.
Yeah, I wrote. I know. Kala had her own name for it.
Yeah, I think you
But-
named it, so I didn't write it down. I was like, she'll figure it out.
Yeah, Asora set is what I named it.
Asora set?
Yeah. Asora
like
and
it.
weed, Asora set.
I described what it was. I didn't write down the name for it.
Classic.
That's what it was.
So yeah, that's basically what this seems to be. Oh well. Forgot of a fun feature of this room. Oh well.
What? What was it gonna be? I want to hear it.
Oh, anytime you take an attack action in this room because of the weak floor, you have to save on a DC or fall through.
Ugh,
Oh my
that would've been
goodness.
Cool.
Yeah,
We're
I
very
was really
light
excited.
stepped.
Yeah,
I was
that's
really
fun.
excited for that, and I totally forgot about
Yeah.
it.
I do that so many times where I'm like, ooh, I'm going to write this cool thing. And then when the game is
Don't
happening,
worry, you guys have another floor to get to.
Good.
Hooray.
I'm sure
Can we at least, were we so distracted by everything happening that we didn't notice at all? Or as we stepped, did we sort of realize, oh,
Yeah,
we
I
didn't step
think.
any heavier?
Yeah, that's fair. I think you're moving through and you feel the floor kind of giving, and you're like, oh.
Okay.
Shit.
All right. I'm in a bit of a push to go through rather than explore. I wouldn't mind exploring on the way out, but exploring on the way in doesn't quite sit well with me. I'd like to get through this as fast as possible, because I
Great
don't know
thinking.
what else is coming.
Yeah, let's
Perfect.
go. Let's go up the sticky plank.
Yeah,
Okay.
you climb up this to the roof, essentially, back out in the sun, where you see a short bridge that seems to bridge the gap between this small nest house and the windmill.
Is this a one at a time type of bridge?
Yes, you have to roll pass one at a time, and everyone will need to roll a dexterity save.
Oh,
I'm just trying to
yay.
be clever about it.
I go
Well, clever.
first. I got a 13. I go across.
Yeah, you're good.
Where's
You
my
pass.
dex?
I shake it. I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah,
20!
nice.
I'm nimble and terrified.
Sal does a cartwheel across.
17.
And Bria gets across. Easy peasy. Yeah, you all pass into what you would imagine is sort of we're calling the first floor of the windmill. Obviously, there's more below you, but it seems like maybe below is just barricaded or something. The interior of the windmill lies in disrepair, filled with odd debris, stacks of ancient hay bales, pieces of garbage, some rotting crates. A staircase along the eastern wall leads to the floor above you. You also hear now the distinct sound of wind passing through a small keyhole, almost like a whistling wind, but low.
Oh, I'm feeling tempted to think, oh, that's the Banshee. But I don't know that I want to fall to that. The question I'd like to ask is, based on the acoustics of this place, is it reasonable for me to have assumed that that thunderous boom that I emitted up to 300 feet just outside would have gone through and echoed everywhere, or would have actually been blocked from getting in because it's just so heavily stoned?
It's 300 feet. It goes.
Was it windy outside?
Okay.
Great question. No, it is not.
Oh, okay. So nothing came running, and it was not windy outside.
Not natural.
Okay.
How
This
big
isn't
is
great.
this room? Like, what's the diameter?
Great question.
It's circular, right?
It is
Yeah,
circular. It is
It's a windmill. It's making wind. That's
5 stories.
35 feet.
It's that
The
kind of
radius of
It
35
mills
feet.
wind.
Okay.
Radius or diameter? What's the...
Radius
Well,
is
radius
half
is
of
making
the
Yeah,
bigger.
so
diameter.
its diameter is 35 feet then.
Okay.
All right. All right.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Up or down?
It's okay.
I'd vote for down.
up.
I would say up. D&D rules means you go up before you go into the spooky basement.
You can always jump.
I don't want to jump. That's the thing. I'd rather.
Well, I'd
That's
rather
true.
not either, but if I have to, you know.
All right, that's fair.
I'm
If you'll
just
both
kidding,
jump,
but
I can
it was
hopefully at least land on
arbitrary.
either
I
of you.
just- Right.
Do we have any
Okay, so we go up.
indication like where that sound of the keyhole wind is
Why don't
coming
you give
from?
me a perception?
I will.
Additionally, Sal, as you're walking over to the steps down, you see that they are completely barred.
14.
Oops. There is no way to head downstairs.
Barred.
It's not even that they are filled with debris. It's that they are purposefully closed off. And actually, looking at it more, it seems like something has slid a piece of that black wood on sort of right up to the top of the stairs, you know, so much so that at first glance maybe you didn't even realize that was the stairwell if it didn't have the hand railing above it that would go into the ground. But walking over, you sort of like maybe you just press it a little bit and it's solid, it's hard.
So it's a bit of a false floor over there that the stair rail is descending into.
Yeah, perhaps.
Okay.
Ray, what'd you roll?
Closed.
14.
14. Yeah, no, you don't hear anything. You can't quite tell. Just sounds like a whistling.
I'd like to roll for that too, if that's okay.
Of course. Everything's okay always,
right.
forever.
Well, I got an 8, so clearly something did not agree with you, and it was the die.
Kala, do you want to roll just to make sure? You're muted. BT dubs.
Oh. No perception?
Yes. Just because she's the one who's looking for the wind.
24.
24.
I can taste it.
Yeah. Kala, as you listen, you notice two distinct sounds. The first is a humming. A soft, elegant humming. A tune that you don't recognize coming from the floor above. And the second, the creaking board of the bridge you just passed. And as you spin around, you see Garrus standing there, apologizing for being so late. We're going to end there for tonight.
Yay.
I mean, a 300-foot boom definitely would have drawn anybody. I love Erica's face.
I'm so concerned on so many levels.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was Hereafter the First Fire, Chapter 11. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We will be back next week. Gary will be back next week to round out this awesome little excursion. You guys did fantastic, so big props to you. The things that you were fighting are just scarecrows. So, like, if you've ever fought a scarecrow, that's all it is, stat block-wise. But going back to what I was saying, there's, ways that I prefer to dress things to make them feel, like, unique. And additionally, they are unique. I'm not envisioning scarecrows, but the stat block works for what I'm envisioning. So that's why a fun little bit of flavor doesn't always have to hurt mechanically. As an explanation to you, Erica, and for any GMs that are watching that are curious about what the hell we were fighting. Ladies and gentlemen, that was an absolute blast. Thank you so much for these fantastic players, as always. We will see you next week, and as my good friend Ahmed always likes to say...
You put it in the flavor. It's something you just put in the flavor.
Something you just put in the flavor. Good night!